गुड मॉर्निंग। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। चलिए बेटा, आ जाइए। जल्दी जल्दी सारे बच्चे ज्वाइन हो जाए। गुड मॉर्निंग। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। कैसे हैं आप लोग? फटाफट फटाफट से ज्वाइन हो जाइए बच्चे। जल्दी। आज क्या आज क्या देखेंगे सर? आज पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस की ही बात कर रहे हैं, राइट? आ जाइए, फटाफट ज्वाइन हो जाए। फटाफट ज्वाइन हो जाए। गुड मॉर्निंग पूजा। गुड मॉर्निंग बेटा। कैसी चल रही है सेल्फ स्टडीज? कैसी चल रही है? सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात बताइए, सेल्फ स्टडीज कैसी चल रही है? शुरू करी है, नहीं करी है आप लोगों ने? सर अभी, बिकॉज ये तो पक्का हो गया है कि एग्जाम्स आर गोइंग टू हैपन इन फेब एंड मार्च। डेट्स अभी रिलीज होगी, राइट? ये तो पक्का हो गया है कि नहीं? सो हमने उस हिसाब से ही क्या करनी है, प्रिपरेशन करनी है, सेल्फ स्टडीज करनी है, रिविजन्स करने हैं, टेस्ट लेनी है कि नहीं? चलिए चलिए, लेट्स स्टार्ट देन। ऑलराइट, गुड मॉर्निंग गाइस, वेलकम टू Unacademy. My name is Saurabh Jaiswal. I'm your educator for economics. Let's crack your 12 CBS, right? चलिए, a very brief introduction about me. I'm a faculty of economics and accounts. I've been teaching at 11th, 12th, and as well as in C Foundation. And it's been 2 years since we've been teaching. And one thing is never changed about our teaching methods is the focus on concepts, the focus on conceptual learning. All right. One thing will never change and has not changed. That is what? That is conceptual learning. Right? फिर कभी भी कभी भी इसमें चेंज नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि बिना लॉजिक्स के बिना लॉजिक्स के मतलब ही नहीं है पढ़ाई का, राइट? बिना लॉजिक्स के मतलब ही नहीं है पढ़ाई का। सो इफ यू आर न्यू if you are new to an academy, if this is the first time that you have come onto the platform and you're wondering what is an academy. An academy is an online learning platform, guys. It is helping us to bridge it is helping us to bridge the gap between us and our studies, right? It is an online learning platform where you can come and learn all your subjects right under one roof. You don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to look anywhere else. It's all here, right? What you can do, you can get a subscription. Mainly there are two, plus and iconic, right? There are two, plus and iconic. You can get any one of these. You can get any one of these. There are two, plus and iconic. We look we look at the various benefits, okay, and how to go about it. All right. Chaliye. So the first benefit that you get on plus is live classes. All the classes are what? All the classes are live. सारी की सारी क्लासेस हमारी कैसी होती है बच्चा? लाइव होती है, लाइव रहती है। रिकॉर्डेड क्लासेस का झंझट नहीं है। नो रिकॉर्डेड क्लासेस। एवरी क्लास, each and every class, every discussion is going to be live. All right. Why? Because so you get to interact with us, right? You get to interact with us on that level. So each and every class is live, right? Then live polls and leaderboards. Live polls and what? Live polls and leaderboards. Live polls and leaderboards. Okay. Now, it is important कि हम क्या देते जाए, हम टेस्ट, regular test हम देते जाए, right? Regular tests are very important because without testing and knowledge, conceptual learning is incomplete. Alright, so plus में एक और benefit क्या है, that there are live test and quizzes. Alright, इसी के साथ साथ you can always attend test series and do your analysis. And do what? And do your analysis कि as compared to others where we stand, कौन से areas में we are lacking, कौन से area में we are having a strong competitive edge, right? ये सारा चीजें, ये सारा एनालिसिस आपको कहाँ और कब मिलेगा? when you get a plus, when you get a plus subscription. All right, then there will be doubt sessions. There will be what? There will be live doubt sessions. So doubt clearing भी कहाँ होगी? Plus. Right? डाउट क्लियरिंग भी कहाँ होगी? क्लास में. और भी बेनिफिट्स है, और भी बेनिफिट्स है, जैसे कि यू गेट अनलिमिटेड व्यूज, access to all subjects and notes, right? You get unlimited views on the videos which are backed up. ठीक है, जो लाइव लेक्चर्स रहते हैं वो क्या हो जाते हैं, बैकअप हो जाते हैं. बैकअप होने के बाद, क्लाउड में सेव होने के बाद, उन पे आपको क्या मिलता है? यू गेट अनलिमिटेड व्यूज. उन पे अनलिमिटेड व्यूज मिलता है, उसमें कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है. ऑलराइट, देन एक सब्सक्रिप्शन के थ्रू आप सारे सब्जेक्ट्स को देख सकते हैं. एक प्लस सब्सक्रिप्शन gives you access to all subjects, not just one, not just economics but all. And साथ ही साथ you can download our class notes. ये सब पॉसिबल कब है? ये सब पॉसिबल है थ्रू प्लस. Now what you have to do, simply download the app, right? Download the Unacademy app. The Play Store, iOS Store दोनों पे अवेलेबल है. डाउनलोड कर लीजिए, ठीक है. सर्च फॉर Unacademy लर्निंग ऐप. Select plus from the menu section. Select what? Select plus. Select your goal. हमारा गोल क्या है बेटा? हमारा गोल है CBSE 12. हमारा गोल क्या है? CBSE 12. Select your goal and choose your appropriate subscription. Now ये सब वेरिएंट्स जो है प्लस के, तो ये किसके? 11th. ये कौन बच्चों के लिए? जो 11th में है, right? They have 6 variants. They have 6 variants: 1, 3, 6, 15, 18 and 24. They have 6 variants. They can choose from any one of these. जो भी सही लगे उसमें से एक निकाल लीजिए और चेकआउट कर लीजिए. बस चेकआउट के टाइम पे रिमेंबर टू गेट योर डिस्काउंट ऑफ 10%. कैसे मिलेगा सर? थ्रू अप्लाइंग दिस कोड. नाउ 12th की बात करते हैं. बिकॉज वी वर मोर focused on 12th. So 12th plus subscriptions. So look at the right hand side of your screen जहाँ पे हमने arrow बनाया है. Alright. Now 12th में there are 3 variants, 3, 6 and 12 months. Right? अब right now, I guess 3 months is the best that you can get. Right? Because exams कब है? Feb March में. Yeah? March start में रहेगी. So 3 months is the best. 3 months is the best you can have. Choose whichever you want. While checking out, apply the code, guys, to get yourself a 10% off. क्यों नहीं करे हम? क्यों नहीं फायदा ले इस चीज का? राइट? क्यों नहीं फायदा ले इस चीज का? So 10% ऑफ है, कोड अप्लाई करना है, सिंपली SAJYT अप्लाई करना है और क्या करना है? 10% ऑफ लेना है. बताइए, मजेदार. ठीक है, ये किसके थे सब्सक्रिप्शन? ये थे प्लस के. ना, आइकॉनिक के 2 वेरिएंट्स है, बस उसमें बेनिफिट्स ज्यादा है. आइकॉनिक में सब बेनिफिट्स जो है राइट. ये सब क्या है? ये सब हमने लिस्ट किया. किसके बेनिफिट्स? ये सारे बेनिफिट्स लिस्ट किए हमने आइकॉनिक के बेनिफिट्स. सब पर्सनल कोच. वी आर योर पर्सनल कोच. आपकी पर्सनल मेंटरिंग होगी. तो सारी चीजें आपके हिसाब से, आपके गोल्स के हिसाब से क्या करी जाएंगी, डिस्कस करी जाएंगी. बी एकेडमिक, नॉन एकेडमिक. ऑलराइट. डाउट सेशंस भी कैसे रहेंगे? एक्सक्लूसिव. पैरेंटल कनेक्ट रहेगा एंड सारे प्लस के बेनिफिट्स. नाउ तो इसमें 2 ही है, 6 and 12. Right? If you want, you can get an iconic subscription if you want. Otherwise, I would suggest go for plus. Okay, go for plus because exams अभी Feb March में ही होने वाली है, that's for sure. Go for a 3 months plus subscription, right? जो हमने यहाँ देखा 3 months plus subscription. So apply the code and get yourself at 10% off. Simple, no झंझट, कोई झंझट नहीं है इसमें. right? बस अभी एकदम लास्ट मोमेंट है एग्जाम्स का. प्रिपरेशन को हमें वो पुश देना है. प्रिपरेशन को क्या देना है? वो पुश देना है. पुश कैसे मिलेगा हमें? दिस प्लस सब्सक्रिप्शन इज आवर पुश टुवर्ड्स अचीविंग आवर गोल. ऑलराइट, ये वो पुश है. हमें ये पुश चाहिए. लेकिन चलिए ना, एक नीचे लिंक है. नीचे एक लिंक है गाइस. वो लिंक किसकी है? वो लिंक है टेलीग्राम चैनल की. You can join that channel for daily updates. Right? You can join that channel for daily updates. आपको फिर हर एक क्लास की डेली अपडेट्स वहाँ पे मिलते जाएगी. नो मैटर आपने सर चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया होगा तो टेलीग्राम के थ्रू आपको अपडेट तो मिल ही जाएगा. देखिए, यूट्यूब तो नोटिफिकेशन दे ही देता है. इनकेस अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया होगा या नोटिफिकेशन वाला वो बेल आइकॉन नहीं ये किया होगा, एनीवेल, सो टेलीग्राम तो आपको अपडेट दे देगा. ऑलराइट, व्हिचएवर द केस, जो भी आपको सही लगे, चूज दैट. राइट, so you can get daily updates through the telegram app also. नीचे लिंक है, दबा दीजिए भैया. शुरू करते हैं आज. हाँ, Indian economy in the post independence period. Now, Indian economic development देख रहे हैं, सेक्शन बी ऑफ आर इकोनॉमिक्स. मैक्रो हमारा पूरा पढ़ के हो चुका है सर, मैक्रो पूरा पढ़ के हो चुका है. अभी किस पे फोकस है? इंडियन इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट. राइट नाउ इंडियन इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट में फोकस है. कल कल का लेक्चर जो था, कल का लेक्चर जो था, हमने क्या कवर किया सर? सबसे पहले तो जब शुरुआत करी, हमने पहले देखे व्हाट वर द एडवर्स इफेक्ट ऑफ द कॉलोनियल रूल. बट व्हाट आर द एडवर्स इफेक्ट ऑफ कॉलोनियल रूल? हमारे अलग अलग सेक्टर्स पे कैसे इफेक्ट हुआ. ठीक है, एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर, इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर, फॉरेन ट्रेड, ये सब पे कैसे इफेक्ट हुआ वो देखा हमने. उसके बाद हम पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस की बात करें. पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस में हमने एक चीज नोटिस करी, ये हमारे लीडर्स जो थे, ठीक है, फिलोसोफर्स, लीडर्स, इनको एक प्रॉब्लम जा रही थी. दैट इज व्हाट? दैट इज टू फिक्स अ पर्टिकुलर इकोनॉमी. टू फिक्स अ पर्टिकुलर इकोनॉमी जो इंडिया फॉलो करेगी. अब we had options like socialist or a capitalist economy, but we didn't wanted to go on the extremes, so we came out with a mixed economy. ठीक है, मतलब कुछ पार्ट गवर्नमेंट हैंडल करेगी एंड मेजोरिटी ऑफ द पार्ट किसे हैंडल करना पड़ेगा सर? लोगों को. राइट. सो उसके बाद जब हमने ये फिक्स कर दिया, so there was a planning commission established with the chairperson Jawaharlal Nehru, our prime minister, and the era of 5-year plan began. Okay, the era of the 5-year plan began. Now, after that, हमने क्या देखे? हमने देखे goals. हमने क्या देखे? हमने देखे goals. What should be the goal of a 5-year plan? कौन कौन से goals थे? सर हमने एक एक्रोनिम भी बनाया था goals के लिए. क्या था? GEMS. राइट. ग्रोथ, इक्विटी, बताइए, मॉडर्नाइजेशन एंड सेल्फ रिलायंस. राइट. सर ये सब क्या थे? ये सारे गोल्स रहने चाहिए. दीज आर द स्पेसिफिक गोल्स दैट एवरी 5-year प्लान नीड्स टू अटेन. राइट. एंड कल हमने देखा सर थ्रू वेरियस सेक्टर्स, ठीक है, हाउ दिस प्लान, ठीक है, दिस 5-year प्लान एंड इट्स गोल्स कैन बी अचीव्ड. कल हमने शुरुआत करी एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर से. ऑलराइट. चलिए एक बार छोटा सा ब्रीफ रिवीजन हो जाए, देन हम आज के टॉपिक पे जंप करेंगे. राइट. नाउ agriculture. We have learned in chapter 1 that during the colonial rule there were neither growth nor equity in agriculture sector. Neither growth nor equity. The policymakers of independent India had to address this issue, which they did through land reforms and promoting the high yield variety crops. Right? Sir, pre-independence, okay, colonial rule में there was neither growth in the agriculture sector. Growth तो थी नहीं. There was stagnation and deterioration. Okay, equality नहीं थी. फार्मर्स के बीच में सर इक्वालिटी नहीं थी. तो ये प्रॉब्लम को एड्रेस करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने, इंडिपेंडेंट इंडिया की गवर्नमेंट ने लैंड रिफॉर्म्स लाए एंड ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन लाए. राइट, वो देखेंगे. सबसे पहले देखते हैं लैंड रिफॉर्म. राइट. एट द टाइम ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस द लैंड टेन्योर सिस्टम was characterized by intermediaries, those are zamindars and jagirdars, who merely collected rent from the actual tillers of the soil without contributing towards the improvement of the farm. तो ये लोग क्या करते थे? ये लोग सिर्फ रेंट कलेक्ट करने का काम करते थे. एंड सर even though Even though they were collecting rent, even though they were the owners of the land, they were not providing any additional benefit to the farmers. They were not providing any resources so, so that our agriculture sector may improve. The low productivity of agriculture sector forced India to import goods from US. Equity, equality, that means equality in agriculture, call for land reforms, which prefer to change its ownership of land holdings. Just a year after independence, steps were taken to abolish intermediaries and to make their tillers the landowners. The idea behind this move was that ownership of land would give incentive to the tillers to invest in making improvements, provide sufficient capital was made available to them. Right? The land reforms लाने का land reform लाने का so ownership transfer करने का एक ही motive था so that the farmers, the cultivators, the tillers get incentivized. It gets incentivized that their land, it is their land. Now they can invest. Okay, they can invest and provide a much better output. Right? Land ceilings, land ceilings and limits on land holding. Okay, land ceiling was another policy to promote equity in the agriculture sector. This means fixing the maximum size of land that one could hold. Sir, हर एक land ceiling establish करेगी. This is the maximum amount that one can hold. Okay, this is the maximum amount of land that one can hold. Okay, ये क्यों किया गया? ये इसलिए किया गया ताकि ताकि एक appropriate एक appropriate and proportionate distribution हो किसके बीच में? सर tillers and cultivators के बीच में. Alright, land ceiling was established so that there was an appropriate and proportionate distribution among the tillers. Alright, the abolition of intermediaries meant that some 200 lakh tenants came into direct contact with the government. Thus, they were freed from the exploitation of zamindars. Now, ये लोगों को अब वही rent नहीं pay करना था. Right? They were the owners. They were the owners. In some areas of zamindars continued to own large areas of land by making use of loopholes in the legislation. There were cases where tenants were evicted and the land owners claimed to be self-cultivators, claiming ownership of the land, and even when the tillers got ownership, the poorest of the agriculture laborers did not benefit from the land reform. देखिए, even though there was transfer of ownership, ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट ने क्या बोली भैया जो खेती करेगा उन्हीं को क्या मिलेगी ओनरशिप. नाउ जस्ट लुक. सर ये बात हुई तो जमींदार क्या किए, जमींदार ने एक्चुअल फार्मर्स को हकार दिया. ठीक है, so, उन्होंने उसे निकाल दिया एंड क्या बोला कि वी आर द एक्चुअल टिलर्स, वी आर द एक्चुअल कल्टिवेटर्स, हम ही फार्मर हैं. सो ये लूप होल के थ्रू उन्होंने ओनरशिप अपने हाथ में ही रखी. एंड इससे जो गरीब से गरीब एग्रीकल्चरर्स था, ठीक है, उन्हें इसका बेनिफिट नहीं मिल पाया. There were also some challenges that was faced by the land ceiling. ठीक है, अब land ceiling में क्या loopholes आ गए? So land ceiling was to establish a limit on how much area anyone can hold. Okay, so what people started doing? They came up to the court and they challenged the decision. इससे क्या हुआ? There was a delay in implementation of land ceiling reform. Now, ये चक्कर में what they did, they transferred the land to their relatives. कि उन्होंने अपना लैंड किसके नाम कर दी, अपने रिलेटिव्स के नाम कर दी। अब रिलेटिव के नाम कर दी है तो भैया उन्हें क्या बोल दिया, सुनो भैया, हम आपको हमारी लैंड दे रहे हैं, ठीक है, बस आपके नाम कर रहे हैं, वो रहेगी मेरी ही। ये समझौते के हिसाब से उन्होंने लैंड ट्रांसफर कर दी, राइट, लैंड ट्रांसफर कर दी। दिस वाज अनदर लूप होल, ठीक है, दिस वाज अनदर लूप होल। एंड ये कैसे सर, ये वो कोर्ट में चैलेंज करने से थोड़ा टाइम मिल गया उन्हें, ठीक है, लैंड सीलिंग एस्टेब्लिश होने से पहले सर उन्होंने जुगाड़ निकाल लिया, बट land reforms were successfully established in Kerala and West Bengal because their government was committed to the tillers. Right? Now, agriculture sector में कैसे changes आए? Through land reforms and green revolution. Land reforms देखे, green revolution. At independence, so at the time of independence, about 75% of country's population was dependent on agriculture. All right, about 75%, so 75% हमारी जनता किस पे थी, किस पे डिपेंडेंट थी फॉर देयर लाइवलीहुड, ऑन एग्रीकल्चर, right? Productivity in the agriculture sector was very low because use of old technology. Productivity was very low because of old technology and the absence of required infrastructure. हमने देखा था सर, during the rule, during the British rule, during the British rule, there was no support from the colonial government in the agriculture sector. The mere growth that was seen, the mere growth that was seen was only because of cash crops, because of production of what, because of production of cash crops. All right, so so at the time of independence, at the time of independence there was a very low productivity due to old technologies and absence of required infrastructure, right? India's agriculture vitally dependent on monsoon, and if monsoon fell short the farmer were in trouble unless they had access to irrigation facility. Okay? Now, सर मॉनसून, ये हम सभी जानते हैं कि हमारा एग्रीकल्चर किस पे डिपेंडेंट रहता है, हमेशा मॉनसून पे, राइट? अब मॉनसून पे डिपेंडेंट है, मॉनसून ही नहीं आया, अगर बारिश कम गिरी, ठीक है, मॉनसून फेल शॉर्ट, मतलब क्या हुआ, बारिश कम होना, ठीक है, अगर बारिश कम हुई, so they will face problem. Why? Because they had no irrigation facilities. Okay, they had no irrigation facilities. The stagnation in agriculture during the colonial rule were permanently broken by the Green Revolution. This refers to large increase in production of food grains resulting from the use of high yield variety seeds, especially for wheat and rice. Especially for what? Especially for wheat and rice. All right. So, so this stagnation was broken through use of high yield variety seeds of wheat and rice. Okay, government provided infrastructure, okay, and seeds which could produce more. Right? The use of these seeds required to use fertilizers and pesticides in the correct quantity and with a regular supply of water. Right? The farmer could benefit from the seeds required reliable irrigation facilities as well as financial resources to purchase the pesticides and fertilizers. In the first phase of Green Revolution, the use of seeds were restricted to the more affluent states such as Punjab, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. सर इसे दो फेज में निकाला गया था, राइट, हमने कल देखा, दो फेज में निकाला गया था, and it was restricted, the phase one to the states of Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Right? Further, the use of high yield variety seeds primarily benefited the wheat growing region only. In the second phase, the Green Revolution. In the second phase of Green Revolution, the high yield variety technology started to spread to a large number of states and benefited more variety of crops. More variety of crops. The spread of Green Revolution technology enabled India to achieve self-sufficiency in food grains. India no longer was dependent on America or any other nation for meeting its food requirement. Right? ये चीज हमें पता थी. Because of colonial rule, we were most focused on production of cash crops. We were more focused on what? We were more focused on production of cash crops. Now, this had this this had to be turned around again. That we produce more of food grains and less of cash crops. So, so the Green Revolution did exactly what we wanted. So we pumped in high yield variety seeds, which could in return produce more quantity with the use of proper irrigation facilities, pesticides, and fertilizers. And now we were not dependent on America or any other nation for our food requirements. Growth in agriculture output is most important, but it was not enough. If a large population of this increase is consumed by the farmers themselves instead of being sold into the market, the high output will not make much of a difference in the economy as a whole. Right? अगर सर जो भी प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है अगर वो कैप्टिव कंजम्पशन हो जाए तो कैप्टिव कंजम्पशन मतलब फार्मर खुद ही कंज्यूम कर ले that will not make an impact on the economy. And if, on the other hand, a substantial amount of agriculture produce is sold in the market by the farmer, the high output will make much larger difference on the economy. Okay, it will make a much larger difference on the economy. The portion of agriculture produce which is sold in the market by the farmer is called market surplus. It's called what? It's called market surplus. A good portion of rice and wheat produced during the Green Revolution period was sold by the farmers in the market. As a result, the price of food grains declined relatively to their other items of consumption. The low-income group who spent a large percentage of their income on food also benefited from the decline in prices. The Green Revolution enabled the government to procure sufficient amount of food grains to build up a stock which could be used in time of storage. सर अब जितना ज़्यादा मार्केट से जितना ज़्यादा फूड क्रॉप्स फार्मर्स बेचने लगे सर मार्केट में क्या हो गया मार्केट में प्राइसेस डिक्लाइन होने लगी सप्लाई बढ़ गया प्राइसेस गिरती है ये हमने देखा ठीक है सप्लाई बढ़ गया तो प्राइसेस गिरी प्राइसेस गिरने के कारण जो लो इनकम ग्रुप वाले थे दे वर also benefited by this and the government started to build stock of food grains so that when there is a shortage they can distribute this among the people. While the nation had immensely benefited from the Green Revolution, the technology involved was not free from risk. One such risk was the possibility that it could increase the disparity between the farmers. Since only the big farmers could afford the required inputs, thereby reaping most of the benefits. Okay, तो एक रिस्क अभी भी था ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन का that it created what it created disparity. It created what it created disparity. Now disparity means inequality between the farmers. कैसे? Because जो भी inputs थे ठीक है जो भी fertilizers, pesticides, irrigation facilities इसके लिए क्या लग रहा था capital लग रहा था. So there was a risk that only the larger farmers were able to get the benefit, and and not the small one. Moreover, the high yield variety crop were also prone to attack by the pest, and the small farmers who adopted this technology could lose everything in the pest attack. Right? This was one of the risks. Fortunately, these fears did not come true because the step taken by the government provided loans at low interest rate to the small farmers and subsidized fertilizers so that small farmers could also have access to the needed inputs. गवर्नमेंट ने क्या करना शुरू कर दिया, लोन देना कर दिया एंड सब्सिडीज देना शुरू कर दिया. Since the small farmers could obtain the required inputs, the output of small farmers equaled the output of large farmers in the course of time. As a result, the Green Revolution benefited the small as well as the rich farmers. The risk of the small farmers being ruined when pests attack their crops was considerably reduced. सो सर ये रिस्क को भी कैसे गवर्नमेंट ने हटाया था, ये रिस्क को भी गवर्नमेंट ने हटाया था टू गिविंग आउट लोन्स एंड सब्सिडीज, टू गिविंग आउट लोन्स एंड व्हाट, एंड सब्सिडीज. दिस वाज यस्टरडेज रिवीजन. ये क्या था, ये था कल का रिवीजन. हमने फटाफट से जल्दी से देख लिया कि सर एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में क्या चल रहा था. ठीक है, आज भी एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर का थोड़ा पार्ट देखेंगे एंड देन वील मूव फॉरवर्ड. अभी हमने देखा दैट दे गेव आउट what they gave out loan and subsidies. Now there was a debate, there was a very big debate going on what, on subsidies, right? Good morning Divyanshu beta, good morning, very good morning. So चलिए let's start. अभी हम देखना शुरू करते हैं, रिवीजन हो गया सब, अब देखना शुरू करते हैं सर सब्सिडीज के ऊपर क्या डिबेट होने शुरू हो गए. देखिए सर प्रॉब्लम्स हमारी सिर्फ ये नहीं था, सिर्फ इतनी प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी कि वी वर नॉट इंडिपेंडेंट. ओके, प्रॉब्लम ये नहीं थी कि हम इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं थे, प्रॉब्लम इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद एक्चुअल प्रॉब्लम शुरू होने लगी बिकॉज वी हैड टू बिल्ड अप आवर इकोनॉमी फ्रॉम जीरो. ठीक है, बिकॉज पहले पहले वी वर अ वेरी रिच इकोनॉमी टर्म्स ऑफ क्वालिटी एंड क्वांटिटी. कौशल गुड मॉर्निंग बेटा, हेलो. तो नाउ लीडर्स के सामने बहुत अलग अलग टाइप की डिफिकल्टीज आ रही थी. सबसे पहले जो हमने देखी थी दैट वाज इकोनॉमी चूज करने की. ठीक है सर, ऐसे कर करके बहुत सारी ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, लैंड रिफॉर्म्स में लूप होल्स, तो बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस आने लग गए थे. एंड अभी जब एक रिस्क आया था हाई यील्ड वैरायटी क्रॉप एंड अदर इरिगेशन फैसिलिटीज में एक डिस्पेरिटी जब देखने मिल रही थी, उसको हटाने के लिए दे गिव आउट लोन्स एंड व्हाट, सब्सिडीज. अब सर हर चीज पे डिबेट होने लग गया, सब्सिडीज पे भी होने लग गया. देखते हैं. The economic justification of subsidies in agriculture is at present a hotly debated question. It is generally agreed that it was necessary to use subsidies to provide an incentive for adoption of the high yield variety technology by farmers in general and small farmers in particular. ठीक, तो सब्सिडीज देने का, देखिए सब्सिडीज गवर्नमेंट नॉर्मली क्यों देती है, सब्सिडीज नॉर्मली क्यों देती है, सो दैट दे द फार्मर्स, ठीक है, और वट एवर पर्सन, जो भी देखिए जो भी रीजन में जो भी सेक्शन डिपार्टमेंट रहता है गवर्नमेंट का जो सब्सिडीज देता है, हमें क्या मिलती है. हम जब प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना जो है उसमें भी हमें सब्सिडी मिलती है. व्हाई? बिकॉज दे आर प्रमोटिंग, भैया आप घर खरीदो, आप एक अच्छी लिविंग में रहो. ठीक है, दे आर प्रमोटिंग दैट. ठीक है, वो हमें हेल्प कर रहे हैं बाय गिविंग सब्सिडीज. सो ड्यूरिंग ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन सब्सिडीज देने पे सिर्फ एक ही मोटिव था गवर्नमेंट का, दैट इज टू प्रमोट adoption of high yield variety technology, that is using high yield variety seeds, irrigation facilities, pesticides and fertilizers. All right, any new technology will be looked upon as being risky by farmers. सर कोई भी नई चीज है, दिस इज वेरी ऑब्वियस, कोई भी नई चीज है, आप और हम भी सर थोड़े थोड़ा एक स्टेप पीछे ले लेते हैं। वाई? बिकॉज हम उसे एनालाइज करते हैं, हम सोचते हैं यार ये रिस्की तो नहीं है, बिकॉज ये नया है। तो इसीलिए सब्सिडीज देना शुरू कर दिया सो दैट दे गेट इंसेंटिवाइज्ड. Subsidies were therefore needed to encourage farmers to test the new technologies. पूरा पैसा हमें नहीं डालना था, पूरा पैसा हम फार्मर्स ने नहीं डालना था, थोड़ा पैसा कौन दे रहा था? थोड़ा पैसा गवर्नमेंट भी दे रही थी. इससे क्या हो रहा था? हमारा रिस्क कम हो जा रहा था. ठीक है. Some economists believe that once the technology is profitable and is widely adopted, subsidies should phase out since their purpose has been served. अब अब तो सब्सिडीज पे डिबेट ये चल रहा था कि भैया इट शुड हैव एंडेड, इट शुड हैव एंडेड. सर इतना ज़्यादा, सर उसका प्रोलॉन्ग यूज़ नहीं होना चाहिए था. तो सब्सिडी सिर्फ किस लिए दे रहे थे? सब्सिडी सिर्फ इसलिए दी जा रही थी सो दैट लोग फेमिलराइज हो जाए किससे? ऑफ द न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी विच वॉज बीइंग यूज्ड फॉर फार्मिंग. एंड कुछ इकोनॉमिस्ट ने कहा कि इट शुड हैव फेज्ड आउट. Further, subsidies are meant to benefit the farmer, but a substantial amount of fertilizer subsidies also benefited the fertilizer industry. Okay, and among farmers, the subsidy largely benefited the farmer in more prosperous regions. Therefore, it is argued that there is no case of continuing with fertilizers and their subsidies. It does not benefit the larger target group, and it is a huge burden on the government's finance. Now, now, what started happening? What started to happen is, so सब्सिडीज देने से कुछ लोग अब इसका गलत इस्तेमाल करने लग गए. ठीक है. सब्सिडीज ऑल्सो बेनिफिटेड द फर्टिलाइजर इंडस्ट्री. ठीक है. ऑल्सो बेनिफिटेड द फर्टिलाइजर इंडस्ट्री, नॉट जस्ट द फार्मर्स बट ऑल्सो द फर्टिलाइजर इंडस्ट्री. एंड फार्मर्स में भी किससे ज़्यादा इसका बेनिफिट मिलने लग गया? जो ऑलरेडी, देखिए जो ऑलरेडी पैसे वाले हैं उनको ज़रूरत रहती है क्या? ज़रूरत किसे रहती है? जो हमारे स्मॉल फार्मर्स थे. बट इसका ज़्यादा फायदा कौन उठाने लग गया? रादर दैन द स्मॉल फार्मर्स, जो हमारे अमीर रईस फार्मर्स थे वो उठाने लग गए. ठीक है. एंड दिस वाज अ डिबेट दैट सब्सिडीज शुड हैव बीन डिसकंटिन्यूड. ठीक है. द when the purpose was fulfilled, because it is a burden on the government's budget. On the other hand of debate, some believe that government should continue with agriculture subsidies because farming in India continues to be a risky business. But कुछ लोगों का कहना था कि सर it will always be a risky business in India. Farming will always be a risky business in India. So subsidies को चलते रहना चाहिए. Subsidies को क्या? Subsidies को चलते रहना चाहिए. Most farmers are very poor and they will not be able to afford the required inputs without subsidies. This argument can go on for centuries. Okay, because majority of the population is engaged into what? Is engaged into farming. Post independence, 75% of the population was engaged into farming in agriculture. Now, the benefit should be the benefit should be given only to the small farmers. Because majority of the people are not able to afford the new technology. The irrigation facilities that needed, the fertilizers, the pesticides, the seeds, the high yield variety seeds, all these things required capital. All right, and small farmers were not capable enough to get all this by themselves. So subsidies were important. Eliminating subsidies will increase the inequality between the rich and poor farmers and violate the goal of equality. Right? हमने सर ये सारी चीजें क्यों देख रहे हैं? हम ये कोशिश कर रहे हैं समझने की कि हमारे 5 ईयर प्लान के जो 4 स्पेसिफिक गोल्स थे वो कैसे अचीव होंगे थ्रू डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स. हम अभी कौन सा एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर पे है. So if we eliminate subsidies, it will create a disparity between the poor and the rich, and it will violate the goal of equality. These experts argued that if subsidies are largely benefited the fertilizer industry and big farmers, the correct policy is not to abolish, but to take steps to ensure that only the poor farmer gets the benefit. Right? So, debate में सर ये conclusion निकला that we should only give the benefit, we should only give the benefit to the poor farmer who are not able to afford the new agriculture technology. Right? Thus, by late 60s, India agriculture productivity had increased sufficiently to enable the country to be self-sufficient in food grains. This is an achievement to be proud of. On the negative side, some 65% of population continued to be employed in agriculture even as late as 1990. Right? Economist has found that as a nation becomes more prosperous, the proportion of GDP contributed by agriculture as well as the proportion of population working in the sector declines considerably. Okay? This is a normal tendency of an economy. When when the GDP rises, when the GDP rises, when the GDP rises, the contribution by the agriculture sector okay, and the people working should reduce. Okay, people should move from agriculture to industry. Okay. In India, between 50 to 90s, the proportion of GDP okay, continued to decline significantly, but not the population depending on it. क्या हुआ? Sir, contribution तो decline हुआ, but the same population was working on it. Why was such a large population engaged in agriculture, although agriculture output could have grown with much less people working in this sector? The answer is that the industrial sector and the service sector did not absorb the people working in the agriculture sector. Many economists call this important failure of our policies during the 1950-1990. Right? देखिए अब क्या हुआ? Even though, sir, as we move forward in time, it was projected, that, sir, as we move forward, less of people will be engaged and will move towards the industrial and service sector. So the contribution will also decrease. The agriculture contribution will also decrease in the GDP. But what happened? What actually happened? What actually happened was, even though the contribution decreased, the number of people engaged in the agriculture sector did not. Why? Because the industrial sector and the service sector was not able to absorb. They were not able to create vacancies for the job. Right? And this was a failure that we faced during the 1950 and 1990. Now, now this was agriculture sector. This was agriculture sector. How did agriculture was able to achieve the goals of our 5-year plan? Okay, and what were the difficulties? All right, and what were the difficulties? Now, अब आते हैं industry and trade. Industrial sector पे आते हैं. Economists have found that poor nations can progress only if they have a good industrial sector. Industry provides employment, which is more stable than the employment in agriculture. It promotes modernization and overall prosperity. It is for this reasons that a 5-year plan placed a lot of emphasis on industrial development. Okay? Sir, many economists believe that for a country to progress, it was important that people engage themselves to what? People engage themselves into industries. Right? You might have studied in the previous chapter that at the time of independence, the variety of industries were very narrow. कौन कौन से थे? So cotton, jute and visco था sir. largely confined to cotton textiles and jute. They were the two well managed iron and steel firms, one in Jamshedpur and other in Kolkata. But obviously, we needed to expand the industrial base with a variety of industries if the economy was to grow. And हमने एक चीज और देखी that there was a lack of manufacturing of capital goods. There was also what? There was a lack of the manufactured goods. Okay? Those are the capital goods. Excuse me. Public and private sector in Indian industrial development. See, the big question facing the policymakers was what should be the role of government and the private sector in the development of industries? At the time of independence, Indian industrialists did not have the capital to undertake investment in industrial ventures required for development of the economy. So पैसा नहीं था. क्या नहीं था? पैसा नहीं था. Nor there was a big market to encourage the industrialists to undertake major projects even if they had the capital to do so. So सबसे पहले तो पैसा नहीं था और फिर बाद में क्या पता चला मार्केट भी नहीं है. ये मार्केट का मतलब कोई लोग ही नहीं थे खरीदने के. It is primarily for these reasons that the erstwhile government had to play an incentive role in promoting the industrial sector. In addition, the decisions to develop the Indian economy on socialist lines led to policy of the government controlling the commanding heights of the economy. As the second five-year plan put it, this meant that the government would have complete control of those industries that were vital for the economy. These policies of private sector would have to be complementary to those of public, with the public sector leading the way. The Industrial Policy Revolution of 1956, in accordance with the goal of the state controlling the commanding heights of the economy, the IPR 1956 was adopted. The resolution formed the basis of the second five-year plan, the plan which tried to build the basis for a socialist pattern of society. This resolution classified industries into three categories. The first category comprises industries which were exclusively owned by government. Second, consisted industries which is the private sector. ठीक है? That could supplement the efforts of public sector, with the government taking the sole responsibility for starting new units. And the third category consists of the remaining industry, which were to be the private sector. So तीन categories से simple, तीन types की categories बना दी गई. फिर एक जो सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट हैंडल करे, ठीक है. दूसरी जो पूरी पूरी प्राइवेट करे, एंड तीसरी जो प्राइवेट थी but it was handled by government. Although there was a category of industries left to the private sector, the sector was kept under the state control through a system of license. No new industry was allowed unless a license was obtained from the government. This policy was used for promoting industry in backward regions. It was easier to obtain a license if the industrial unit was established in a backward area. So backward area में industrialization promote करने के लिए they were given license easily. Okay? In addition, such units were given certain concessions such as tax benefit and electricity at lower tariffs. The purpose of this policy was to promote regional equality. Even an existing industry had to obtain a license for expanding output or diversifying products. This was meant to ensure that the quantity of goods produced was not more than what the economy required. License to expand production was given only if the government was convinced that the economy required a larger quantity of goods. Right? Now, what was what was happening in the small scale industry. In 1955, the Village and Small Scale Industry Committee, also called the Garvey Committee, noted the possibility of using small scale industries for promoting rural development. A small scale industry is defined with a reference to the maximum investment allowed on the assets. The limit has changed over time. In 1950, a small scale unit was one which invested a maximum of these 5 lakhs. At the present, the investment is allowed till 1 crore. It is believed that small scale industries are more labor intensive. They use more labor than the large scale industries and therefore generate more employment. But these industries cannot compete with the big industries. It is obvious that development of small scale industries required them to be shielded from the large scale firms. For this purpose, the production of a number of products were reversed, reserved for the small scale industries. The criterion of reservation being the ability of these units to manufacture the goods. They were also given concessions such as lower excise duty and lower bank rates. So this was all about today. बहुत ही छोटा सा एंड बहुत ही प्यारा सा सर रोल प्ले किया किसने सर इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर राइट सर they were there were agricultural reforms and there were industrial policies जिसने इक्वालिटी लाने की कोशिश करी right? So this was our today's lecture. Thank you so much for tuning in everyone. आपसे मुलाकात होगी कल right? आपसे मुलाकात होगी कल जाते जाते important चीज if you want to unlock the free content use our code SAJYT. You can also use the same code for joining in the quiz. Right? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. Do subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. Right? Sure. Thank you so much. मिलते हैं जल्द